Hey there, witches, and welcome to today's video. It's not going to be a long one right now. I wanted to make a video and pop over here to answer a question that we get asked a lot in my Facebook group. But before that, I want to say thank you for being here, and please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And if you ever have any questions, you can leave them in comments for me because I would love to answer your questions. Or you can go over to my website at moonstonewitchery.com and submit a question over there. And also, please come find me on my Instagram page, moonstone_witchery. Find me on my Facebook group, Moonstone Witchery, and please listen to my podcast because I try to put out a lot of content on YouTube that's free and accessible, but I definitely put out a ton of content that's free and accessible on my podcast, and that is Moonstone Witchery on all major streaming platforms. So thank you for the commercial. Let's get started. A question that I get asked really often, or that comes through the Facebook group really often, is am I hexed? How can I tell if I'm hexed? Like, has somebody hexed me? What do I do if I'm hexed? A lot of fear around hexing. So first of all, I want to say the odds are that you are not hexed. Yes, witchcraft is kind of on the upswing. Yes, witchcraft is kind of having an uptick right now, and that's pretty cool. But generally, people aren't walking around hexing people, and even if they are, generally the people who are quick to hex are not really putting enough power into their spell work that it's going to really be a big deal or something that you have to be super concerned about. But I know that it's still a fear that people have, and I know that our fears really can prohibit us from taking any action whatsoever. And so what's interesting about the fear of hexing, though, is that people are like so afraid of hexing that then they use it to kind of diminish or dismantle their own access to their own witch practice. And I find that strange because if you're worried that you're going to be hexed, or if you're worried that you are hexed, I actually want you to lean even farther into your witchy practice so that you can know how to go ahead and unhex yourself, or even better, so that you can know how to go ahead and protect yourself, because protection spells and the warding of your spaces is very important, and it will work. It will defend and deflect any negative energy or spell work sent your way, whether intentional or not, because sometimes people think that they're sending us a positive spell or doing something positive for us magically, and it could have it's like a law of unintended results. Like, it could have a whole avalanche of reactions or responses that are actually maybe not so in alignment with that positive spell that they thought that they were doing. So ward your homes and protect your spaces and protect yourself. And if you can start, and this is why I always tell new witches, beginner witches, please begin with cleansing, grounding, and protection work, because that's the most important thing you can do. Because sometimes your own spell work can bounce back onto you. And I'm not really huge into the bounce back rule, so don't take that and get it twisted. But sometimes your own spell work might be a little misguided, and if you have good protection around yourself, and if you're warded nicely, even your own negative energy can't hit you. Okay, so that's my little mini lecture at the beginning about protection work. But here's how to tell if you're hexed. Suddenly, all of a sudden, everything is going wrong. And, I don't mean, bad day. I don't mean, the guy didn't, show up when he was supposed to, and then Starbucks was closed, and then, whatever. I mean, I fell and broke my ankle, and my cat got really sick, and I lost, any investment money that I had, and then I got this huge leak in my ceiling, and this was all just all on top of itself. If you are hexed by someone who is skilled at hex work, everything will start to fall to pieces. Now, if they're really skilled at hex work, it won't be as obvious. You'll start to sort of feel less okay all the time. You'll start to feel not like yourself at all. You won't be able to dig yourself out of it. And many, many things will just not be working in your favor. And if those things are consistent and profound and just taking you out, and you're having mystery illnesses with no cure, and you're having intense nightmares, and everything that can go wrong is going wrong, and it's just one thing after another, then there's a possibility that there's a hex that's been placed or a curse that's been thrown your way. Now, the other mitigating factor here is, do you have an enemy that would hex you, or that would hire out to somebody else that would hex you on their behalf? Because if you do, and you're having all of these things taking place, then okay, maybe someone's thrown something your way. So don't fear. Don't freak out. Don't worry. It's resolvable. Okay? Almost all hexes can be undone. So there's a series of things that we can do. If you are thinking that someone's thrown negative spell work your way, but it may not be, like maybe their skill level isn't so high, or it might not be at that level, there's a really quick and easy thing that you can do to kind of remove any jinxes or curses or negativity from your space. You take yourself to a graveyard, you bring coins with you, you enter in one part, you ask the spirits, you pay respects to them. I would even kneel down and talk to them, but you pay respects to them. Before you go in there, shield yourself and protect yourself and say, may no like earthbound or divergent energies or entities attach themselves to me. Like no one's allowed to like leave the graveyard with me. Just say that and it's fine. That like they have to listen to that rule. Pay your respects to the energies of the cemetery and leave them some coins and say, I'm leaving you these coins and I'm asking that you remove any hexes or curses or jinxes that were put upon me, any negative energy that was put upon me, whether intentional or not, because this just cover all of our bases. And then you walk through the graveyard and you leave it all behind. You lay this energy to rest. And then you leave from a different place from whence you came and you leave and you don't look back. And that's important because I don't want you to look back and re-invite the energy or to be like, is it coming with me? And you just don't look back. That's a nice, simple, base level kind of way to cleanse your energy and remove any divergent or negativity that has been like energy that has been sent your way. If it's on a different level and we're like afraid of like actual spell work from a skilled practitioner being sent our way, then you're going to want to go ahead and do either a reversal spell or an uncrossing spell. There's tons of ways to do these. You can buy really large reversal candles. They're usually black and red. When you're writing on a reversal candle, you want to write in mirrored lettering. You want to write it in reverse. And you want to go counterclockwise around that candle all the way down. Because we're starting at the top of the candle and we're going down because we're removing that energy. So as the candle burns, it all goes away. But because we're reversing, we're sending it back. What we're doing with this candle is we're creating a mirror. So we're like, anything you sent to me, boom, I'm sending it back to you. And it's mirrored. That's why we mirror right all the way down. And you can go ahead and burn that candle on a mirror itself and tell the mirror, I'm sending anything anyone sent my way back to them. Reversing is considered in the realm of baneful magic. And the reason it's considered baneful or negative magic is because you're not just dissipating the negativity, you're giving it back out. So I want you to know that because a lot of people are really afraid of doing anything baneful or negative. But to me, I don't really call it baneful magic. I call it justice-seeking magic because I have the right to protect my energy spaces. And if you're going to come at me with something like that, then I'm going to just slam you right back. Okay? So to remove a hex, a reversal candle, or remove a curse or a negative energy, a reversal candle is usually pretty effective, especially if you know who it is that sent it your way. You can go ahead and put their name right on that candle and reverse anything they've ever sent your way back to them. Okay? If you don't know who it was, you can go ahead and just kind of like blanket statement, whomever has ever sent anything towards me that is like this. Da, 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 da. Now, reversal candles are really big. They're really thick. They'll take like several hours to burn. So either plan to be home with it, don't leave it unattended, put it in a like a cast iron kind of skillet or a cast iron like a crock pot or something so that even if it gets knocked over, it's not going to be dangerous, or put it in a bed of sand, or some people like to set them in water. So just figure out what works for you so that you can have like basic fire safety, because a lot of times with really powerful spells like reversals, the flames get really big and the intensity of the intention creates a lot of fire. So you do have to be really aware. If you're going to do a spell, believe that it's going to work. And if you're going to believe that it's going to work, be prepared for a flame for a spell like this to be pretty intense, especially if you dress your candle. They have reversal oils, they have reversal incense. So if you're going to do a thing, go ahead and do the thing, right? Now for uncrossing, generally there are uncrossing spells. I would like you to write your own at that point, because if we're at that level that we're going to do an uncrossing, it's pretty high level work, and you should be skilled enough to write your own spell. You're going to use a black candle for that. You're also going to start at the top and work your way down, but you're going to dress it and anoint it with your own herbs in that capacity and your own oils. They do have uncrossing oils, but really my favorite thing to tell people to do is to take an uncrossing bath. There's certain herbs that you can purchase that go along with an uncrossing bath. There's certain oils and waters that you can purchase. I would definitely purchase them from somebody else, because by the time that you are in a state of feeling hexed or even being hexed, you making your own, we're past that, because your energy is kind of compromised at this point. So I want you to outsource, and I want you to outsource to somebody who is a practice professional. Now, specifically for uncrossing herbs and uncrossing oils, that is a voodoo-based spell. And while it's not closed necessarily, because many voodoo practitioners teach it and they allow us access to it, and they sell the herbology and the waters and the oils about it, because it is based in hoodoo and voodoo, I want you to purchase your items from a reputable hoodoo or voodoo practitioner, and there's tons of them on Etsy. So support a person of color owned business and give them your money so that they can at least benefit from some of the learning that they've done, or some of the teaching and what we've taken from that. So to definitely do that. But an uncrossing bath, in order to be the most effective, you really need to sit in it for 3 separate days. And you really want to do it like at the right time. Some practitioners teach that you do it just after sundown. Some teach that you do it just before sunrise. So you have to research it for yourself and figure out what speaks to you the most. You're going to say certain words as you pour water over your head. So follow the steps. If you truly believe that you've been hexed, if you truly believe that you've been cursed, the uncrossing bath will really dramatically help you. And in the spaces afterwards, a witch recently taught me, pay attention to your dreams as you're doing uncrossing work, because your dream state will let you know, especially if you alert your guides, like, let me know how it's going, let me know if it's working. Pay attention to your dreams, and it will kind of direct you in the direction that you need to go in order to complete that uncrossing. After you've uncrossed, you must step out of the space of fear, because we can continue to hex or harm or curse ourselves by being in a fear state. And I don't want you to do all this work if you're just going to summon fear back in and let that fear be just as restrictive against your life as the hex was itself. Okay? So get yourself back to a state of groundedness, centeredness, of trust. You know, smoke cleanse your spaces, Florida water yourself, increase your warding and your protection energy, but let it be done. Let the curse be broken. And I'm really big on doing something symbolic that represents the curse being broken. So when you're at the stage of writing your own uncrossing spell, have an element incorporated into it, and even just like a stick is fine, where you break that stick or you snap it in half and you say, as I speak these words, this curse is broken. And then you kind of separate those 2 pieces. And whether you light them in fire or dispose of them in some gross kind of intense way, whatever it is that you do, trust that it is done. Because that is what we're doing here. If something can be done to you, that means that it can also be undone by you. And I want you to really hear that. Because fear is so intense in the witchcraft community, and it's like hindering everything. So be like, all right, nice try. I'm going to undo what you did. Okay? And because you are in charge of your own energy field, whatever you say, that's how it goes. You're always capable of breaking a curse. But there's people out here that kind of do this thing that I don't like, where they're like, curses aren't real. Just say it's not real and it's not real. Well, that's not actually true. And that's a really quick way to go ahead and let yourself just stay cursed for a really long time. And staying cursed for a really long time is going to really diminish your quality of life, not gonna lie. So like, while it's nice to just be like in a witchcraft group and to be like, it's not real, it's not a real thing. Well, why are you in the witchcraft group if that's what you think? Because it is a real thing. People can direct any kind of energy towards you. And it's almost naive to think that we're just going to go ahead and not be immersed in both positive and negative energies. I mean, people can direct negative energy towards you accidentally, and it's not going to be on the level of cursing you permanently and like destroying your world, but someone can direct negative energy at you without even really intending for it to go like that. And if that's the case, like, have you ever said something that you didn't mean and it had like a bad result on somebody else? You're like accidentally like throwing bad vibes at them. So, like, of course people can intentionally throw bad vibes at you. Of course people can intentionally throw bad energy at you, right? So why are we just saying, I just choose to not believe that a curse is a real thing? Well, okay, good luck to you. Like, also, please don't, if you believe that, please don't advertise that. Don't go around saying that, because any kind of person who doesn't really like you is paying attention that you don't even believe in it. You are just like a sitting duck. You're literally like this like innocent little deer out in the meadow, and she's just like, I don't believe in predators. And then she gets shot by some arrow because she refuses to understand that, like, reality exists. And I'm not trying to scare you. In fact, I'm trying to make this video to not scare you. But my point here is that, like, if you're going to be in the witchcraft world, you must actually fully be in it. And you have to learn what all of the possibilities are, what all the capabilities are, and you have to learn it so much that you're not afraid of it anymore. Because fear is going to be the number one curse against you, and fear is a curse that you curse yourself with. So really try to think about that, and really try to, like, stand in your empowerment and know that you've got this, and anything that gets done to you can be undone by you. Just don't allow the fear to halt you. And when you undo something that's been done to you, trust that it is undone and allow it to be better. Because sometimes we don't allow ourselves to heal. We don't allow ourselves to be okay. We don't allow ourselves to be safe. We don't allow ourselves to be just in the state of being fine. And that is one of the worst curses that we hold against ourselves. And I want you to start to practice being okay with being okay. I hope this was helpful. Please give me a subscribe and find me on all of the places by looking up Moonstone Witchery, and I'd love to see you there. Thanks so much. Have a good day.